what's up? This is Steph. We're back with Steph's Metal Update. We've got a really crazy special interview right now with the author of Tales from the Stage, Volume 1, Michael Toney. Thank you very much for coming on the show.
Steph, thanks for having us. I'm glad to be on.
No problem. So this is awesome. It's a hard rock, heavy metal, takes you backstage, almost feels like you're back in the living room. You've got interviews with members of Wasp, Kiss, Scorpions, Dio, Quiet Riot, Whitesnake, and more. How did you get in contact with all of these people to get their stories?
Well, I had worked at the Hard Rock Hotel for a couple of years prior to doing this venture, and I made some contacts within the music industry with various folks through that position, and I stayed in touch with those guys. And as you know, you do this as much as anybody, the rock metal industry is very incestuous, if you will, where everybody knows everybody else.
Yeah.
So it was, just with the contacts I had, and they knew someone else, and they kind of opened the door for me and that type thing. And within just a couple months, we had 15 folks doing the book, and it came out fantastic.
That's amazing. That is so true what you just said. We're a very incestual group, and only a couple people gave me a chance, and Foreigner and Styx let me on their tour about 8 years ago before I had done any tour packages. And I'm so thankful that, the people just trust in you, and from there you network on your own.
Absolutely.
So, and you even got Eddie Trunk on your side. He's all talking about the book and in it. I mean, what is it like to work with Eddie Trunk? I haven't got to meet him yet, and he's a god of rock.
Eddie Trunk is way more down to earth and cooler than people probably give him credit for. He was the very last person I interviewed for the book, and as soon as we were done with his interview, we basically went right to press. But to answer your question, he was very forthcoming, very open about everything. We asked him, some really off-the-wall questions, like when is the last time he wanted a backstage pass to a concert and was able to get one, and he had a really good answer for that. But he was brutally open about, why Kiss hasn't been on the show, why he thinks Ozzy hasn't been on the show, and pulled no punches with, Gene, Paul, Sharon Osbourne. He was very honest, very forthcoming, and very cool.
Yeah, I dig that he doesn't hold back. And if there's a little tiff going on, he'll talk about it. And that metal show, that's just amazing. It gives all us metalheads a place to go and finally come together and, see interviews and everything. It's just a big step because you know how rock is. It's kind of making a full circle, but it's coming back slowly.
It is.
So who gave you the juiciest information?
Oh my gosh, it all depends on how you classify as juicy, but as far as from a shock standpoint, I'd have to say Chris Holmes from the ex-Wasp guitarist. It's a funny story with Chris. Have you ever met Chris?
I have, briefly at the Key Club, and I know that Blackie back in the day used to party hard.
Well, Chris is a very imposing character physically. He's 6'5", and he's just kind of a mean-looking guy, if you will, but truth of the matter is he's an absolute sweetheart, and the best part about it is Chris cannot lie, and he tells in the interview how he just has never been able to lie, and people can tell when he's lying, so he doesn't lie. So I would ask him whatever questions under the sun, and I said, hey, this is too personal. I understand if you don't want to go this route. And he said, no, I'll answer the questions. And he really was brutally honest regarding anything from who he dislikes most in rock and roll to, intimate experiences to drug use. It was as well as Blackie Lawless stories. So he probably, from a juice standpoint and a shock standpoint, I'd probably say Chris Holmes.
That's awesome. I love it. And to find out all this juice, we're going to have to go to talesfromthestage.com or buy your book when it's out on Amazon. And it comes out in July. What's the exact date?
Well, actually, it was supposed to come out in July. We changed this just earlier in the week to June 29th. It will be available. And for the first 6 months it's out, it will be available just on talesfromthestage.com. After the first of the year, we'll diversify the distribution a little bit. But for the first 6 months, it's only available through talesfromthestage.com in ebook format as well as standard softcover book format.
That sounds great. And I love how you guys are partnering up with Ride for Dime, and a portion of the book sales are going to that. How did that come about?
Well, I wanted to partner with a nonprofit organization, and obviously a rock and roll-based organization would have been ideal. So I talked to a couple different organizations. Ride for Dime was very prompt in their response to me. They seemed like they were a organization that was growing rather than just, riding the wave, if you will. They want to grow. So they continue to grow. They continue to add chapters. And the gentleman's name is Rob, who I deal with Ride for Diamond. He's in Dallas. Yeah, amazing guy. And they have their big annual conference, or big annual ride, I should say, taking place in Dallas in August. And I'm glad I partnered with them. They're a great organization. And of course, they, Ride for Diamond was started by the friends and family of the late Dimebag Darrell.
Oh, that's great. I love it. But so I'm stoked about the book. I gotta go out and buy a copy and find out all this juice. And it's only volume 1, so I like that. There's more volumes to come. I've got some stuff to add if you've ever want to hear some wild sexual stories from backstage. I'm boring now.
I was going to say, you're the one always doing the interview, Stephanie. Maybe I should interview you a little bit, and you could tell us some good stories.
I definitely, because of the job in radio, have seen some crazy stuff. So I don't know how much in trouble I'd get for saying my stories, but I've thought about it, and I think it's great what you're doing. Everyone got to go out, pick up Tales from the Stage, Volume 1, and you can go to talesfromthestage.com. This is Michael Toney. Thank you very much for stopping by, and if you got anything else to add, this is your time.
Steph, I appreciate it, and I'm just really excited about the book, and it's one of these books that are kind of like potato chips. It's 15 different chapters, and it's very difficult just to read one because they really do suck you in, and I spend a lot of time with these guys, usually about an hour in an interview, so it's not just 5 or 6 questions. It's 60 to 70 questions a piece, and at the end of the interview, you know these guys. You know what they like, what they don't like, their experience, everything, and I hope everyone will check it out.
Oh, that sounds great. Well, thanks again so much for stopping by, and we wish you the best of luck.
I appreciate it, Steph. Thank you much.